Well, this is different.
Welcome everybody back to ROC Movie Reviews. As you can tell, we are outside,
Yeah.
and we are keeping the 6 to 10 feet minimum because of COVID-19.
Even though we're not even sick.
Yeah, it's okay. And today we are going to be talking about a film that has been out for a couple months.
Yeah.
And I know you have varying thoughts on it,
Yes.
as well as I do. But we wanted to take the time to review this film because it's always a big deal whenever we review one of these movies of this franchise.
Yeah.
So without further ado, welcome to our review of Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker.
Confronting fear is the destiny of a Jedi. Your destiny. The Force will be with you. Always.
Wow, this is a big one. This
Yep,
is a big one. So very similar to our reviews for The Force Awakens Episode 7 and The Last Jedi Episode 8, we are going to be covering spoilers, I think. Yeah, so spoiler warning right there.
Yep.
This film's been out for a couple months. It came out, I believe, December
of last year.
December of last year, yeah. I think, didn't you see it opening day?
No,
No,
I
that's
think
right,
I
you
saw
didn't.
it like January of this year.
Oh, you saw it January?
Yeah.
Oh my god, so I actually saw it before you.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's nuts.
Yep.
Yeah, so I saw this once in the theater, I believe, and I was really late to the party because my work schedule didn't allow me to get to it any sooner.
Oh wow.
So when I finally did see it, I was hearing very negative reviews. I was hearing quite positive reviews. There was like reviews all over the place, all over the spectrum.
Yeah, I'll admit the Rotten Tomatoes scores for both critics and audience was surprising. The critics is actually the lowest of all movies.
Yeah.
The audience somehow was super high.
Yeah, it is rather high. I
Because
remember
when you
that.
look at the Rotten Tomatoes scores for The Last Jedi, it's the complete opposite.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Yeah, and after The Last Jedi being so incredibly divisive among fans and critics, I think actually more critics like The Last Jedi than fans did.
Yeah.
I honestly think that, and I still think The Last Jedi is a very good movie, but as the years have gone by, I've been able to accept its flaws.
Yeah.
And that being said, it is my least favorite of this new trilogy now. However, I still don't think it deserves a lot of the hate that it gets. Certain elements, sure, but I still think there's a lot of elements to that film that make it worth the watch.
Okay.
So, but that being said, so it was weird because with The Force Awakens, that was like that united fans and critics, and people were like, "Oh my God, Star Wars is back."
I mean, Force Awakens was similar to A New Hope, but fans were kind of expecting for something new to come upon this new trilogy.
Yep.
And sadly, we didn't really get that.
No, we've talked about it before in our review of that film. It's kind of like a rehash of A New Hope with newer characters and returning old characters.
This one's a rehash of a bunch of films.
This is a rehash of a bunch of films. But I gotta say, walking out of the theater seeing this film, was I conflicted? Yeah, sure. I wasn't as conflicted as, say, with Last Jedi. Last Jedi was like, I didn't really know exactly how to feel.
Yeah.
But with this film, overall, I had a positive experience, despite hearing all the mixed reception and how some people just straight up hated this movie. I might get hate just for saying this, but I genuinely really enjoyed this movie, and I think a big part of I did, and I think a really big part of that is J.J. Abrams coming back to direct, because I love The Force Awakens so much. I mean, it's such a good movie, even if it's a rehash of Episode 4, whatever. But then you could argue that Last Jedi isn't a rehash really of anything because it kind of goes off into left field and it goes all in these weird directions that no Star Wars film has gone before. So, you know, when people are so quick to make the assumption that it was going to be like The Empire Strikes Back, they were all wrong.
It was the complete opposite.
It was, and I kind of applaud the originality of where they went for The Last Jedi. Did it all work? No, absolutely not. But it just, you know, I mean, like, that's why some people loved it and some people hated it and some people were in the middle.
Yeah.
I believe trying to find redeeming qualities to any film, if that's possible.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to actually just crap on a film completely, unless like that rare case where a film is literally
like The Long Haul. Yeah.
Yeah, and I still didn't give that a 0. I still gave it, what, a 1?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I gave that -0.
So I still found like 1 or 2 redeeming qualities in one of the worst films of the decade, in my opinion. So
thankfully, Rise of Skywalker is far from a -0, but not nearly close to like a great film in my opinion.
In your opinion, I wouldn't say it's necessarily one of the great Star Wars either, but I would certainly say it falls in the middle for me. In how it measures up to The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. It's interesting. I kind of have to think more about it to see where I would score it. But definitely this film was more of a positive for me than it was a negative. I think this new trilogy has been... I've had my mind open and I've been able to accept certain things that they've done, because how many years had it been before Force Awakens came out? But in between the
4.
Oh, I'm sorry, but in between the prequel trilogy...
10.
Yeah, see, so it had been an entire decade since a Star Wars film had come out, so I wasn't... I guess I didn't really have any expectations. I was just wanting to kind of be back into the world of, you know, a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
And I think that's definitely what I got, at least with The Force Awakens. But, you know, we're talking about The Rise of Skywalker, so J.J. Abrams comes back to direct. I don't know if I want to say he had his work cut out for him, because Rian Johnson did some things in The Last Jedi that really threw things into a tailspin.
Agreed.
So I don't blame JJ for what he had to do with this film, because he was trying to kind of right the ship, so to speak, because Rian Johnson had taken it in some weird directions that I don't think Abrams originally had planned.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure why Abrams didn't direct The Last Jedi. I can't remember the reasoning behind it.
I know. I think all 3 movies had a different director, but I guess they went back to JJ with Episode 9. So
yeah, it's a bit well, and it's an interesting parallel. The Jurassic World trilogy, obviously the 3rd one hasn't come out, but Colin Trevorrow directed the 1st one, and then J.A. Bayona directed Fallen Kingdom. Yeah. And now they're going back to Colin Trevorrow for the 3rd one. So, interesting parallel in between the Star Wars sequel trilogy and the Jurassic World trilogy. I just thought that was kind of odd.
Yeah.
Kind of cool, though. So, we'll jump right into the plot, the story of this movie. I think I'm going to let you do that, because this is a little bit of a difficult...
It's a lot.
Yeah, so try to sum it up in, like, fewest words possible.
So, The Rise of Skywalker is the final movie in the sequel trilogy.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's basically supposed to like wrap everything up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we get a returning character, Emperor Palpatine, who apparently is now the main villain of this saga.
Because Snoke was offed in The Last Jedi. Yeah.
Which I thought Snoke was just ripped off. And
well.
And now Rey has to kill him, I guess.
Well, it's kind of like that. Rey has to become a Jedi Master at this point, and the Resistance is still fighting the First Order, but it's kind of all over the place. It's like Kylo Ren is looking for this, I think it's called a Wayfinder, and he that will lead him to this planet Exegol, which I think the concept of Exegol, which is the planet that Palpatine is on, I think the concept of Exegol is actually really cool. I love the aesthetic of it.
Yeah.
I just don't really understand exactly why we hadn't heard of this planet before this movie. I was like, oh, just new planet, and all of a sudden Palpatine's on this planet. I'm like, all right.
Maybe just like to surprise the fans.
I don't know, but I will say that was one of the strengths.
Maybe the Sith did have a home all along.
in that case, if that was, I mean, obviously that wasn't part of the original plan, but in that case, if it was, that would have been really cool. But it did feel kind of like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, I'm fine with the new planet of Exegol. I think it's actually really cool looking, and it brought a lot of new elements, at least to a Star Wars planet, that I enjoy.
And it honestly kind of did look like a Sith planet.
It did. It absolutely did. It was really dark. It was super intimidating.
Especially with that stadium with all those Sith cultists who have been waiting for I don't know how long.
That's a joke in and of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was. I mean, among the many questions that I had at the end of the film, that was one of them. Like, were these guys just waiting for Palpatine to rise with the final order? Like,
and were they waiting for Rey as well?
Yeah, there's just there's a lot of what do you call it? A plot holes.
Yeah.
Of this movie when you start to think about it, but I mean, for people who don't look for plot holes and just want to enjoy film, this gets the job done.
Yeah.
But you know, it's difficult because there are a lot of decisions made here, especially with Palpatine's character, where it's just like, okay, we have to accept this now.
Yeah, he's back, even though in Return of the Jedi he was obliterated to the point where there should be no remains of his body whatsoever.
Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you think about it. But then again,
And,
I mean,
apparently the reason he's back, literally a quote from Episode 3.
Yeah. The dead have risen or something?
The dark side is the path to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the opening.
Literally the exact same quote.
Well, and the opening sentence of the opening crawl of this movie is, "The dead speak." I thought that was a little like...
What are we, Dead Space now?
It's like, the dead speak. Like, oh, wow, that hooks you right in.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, it was, again, that was many of those elements that I was like, a bit questionable, little weird, but the first act of this film flies through a lot of different things very quickly.
Yeah.
It's like they were trying to fit in kind of a sequel to The Force Awakens while also having this be the final film.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of feels like two movies put together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which again I noticed, but I didn't mind that much.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just because I like these characters, I like this story, and I'm not as much of a demanding Star Wars fan, I guess.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I haven't liked the entire franchise. There have been films that I've just straight up hated. So, you know, anything above the prequels.
Which we'll get to the originals and the prequels soon.
Yeah. We're planning on reviewing those trilogies as well, because we have a lot of thoughts about them.
Yeah.
A lot. But you just covered. I think we covered the plot of the story.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's, in a nutshell, that's kind of what's going on.
Now we're gonna go by the pros, cons, and spoilers, and movie rip-offs.
Yes, and before that, we're gonna just run through the cast real quick, because I think it is worth noting that I don't think there's one bad performance in this movie. I think,
I guess not.
You could criticize the script all you want, but I think the performances themselves were really good, especially. We're going to get to it here. Daisy Ridley as Rey. She's the best she's ever been in this trilogy. I agree. I genuinely think she did an excellent job in this movie. And I thought she was great in the first two as well.
Yeah.
I've always liked her character. I know you kind of have a problem with her being like a Mary Sue.
Like, nothing goes wrong with her.
Yeah, nothing.
And when it does, it's not her fault.
I know. I tend to focus on her abilities and her character, and while she's not a fully fleshed out character, Daisy Ridley herself brings a lot of the role that normally I don't think another actor would have.
Yeah.
So I thought she was really good. I mean, we've got John Boyega back as Finn, who's fighting to maintain to be a part of this trilogy, because after Force Awakens, they didn't really go anywhere with his character.
Nope.
Admittedly, but again, I liked his character enough in The Force Awakens that I was glad to see him back in this third film.
Yeah. I'd say my favorite character in this film would probably be Kylo Ren.
Yes. I think Kylo Ren's probably my second favorite. My first favorite character of this entire trilogy is, or my number one, I should say, is Oscar Isaac as Poe Dameron. Is he super fleshed out? No, but I think he's a really cool character. He's kind of the Han Solo, the new Han Solo of this trilogy, and he's got some really good lines of dialogue, and I loved his interplay with Finn.
Yeah.
I really loved that. I kind of wish that we got more of that in The Last Jedi, because
Definitely.
they alluded to it in The Force Awakens, where they were like buddies, and they were totally had total
like they had a
bromance.
little bromance and stuff.
They had a total bromance going on, and they leaned more into that in this final film. And well, I would have liked more of that in the second movie.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got it in this one, because that team element of Rey, Poe, and Finn actually being together instead of separate.
Yeah.
I do think they got that element right in this movie.
Yeah.
So, that being said, God, I mean, C-3PO is back. Anthony Daniels. He's been acting as C-3PO since the beginning. I think this is the best C-3PO has been. Honestly,
Really?
he had like a full story arc in this movie, so to speak. C-3PO has always been really good, but I always thought he's like a supporting character.
Yeah.
I felt like he was actually one of the main players in this movie.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think he was actually integral to a lot of the film's story.
Yeah.
So,
But,
no problems with him. But you're gonna say
one
something.
part of the story, we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
I will mention soon.
Okay. Dom Hall Gleason, General.
Yeah.
I can't even say his name completely without laughing.
Dom Hall
because
Gleason?
Dom Hall Gleason. He's a great actor.
Yeah.
But this character of Hux is just like, they were going somewhere with it in the beginning.
It's like he was supposed to be like this Hitler fanboy almost.
Yeah.
And then in The Last Jedi, he's a clown.
Yeah,
Honestly.
in The Last Jedi, he's relegated to like a punchline.
Yeah.
And in this, he's not even in most of the movie because he gets off pretty quickly.
Definitely.
So, I mean, they had the good sense to write his character out.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There was just more potential with his character instead of being a whiny little brat that, was essentially just a henchman.
Definitely.
So, good actor, but not a great character. Richard E. Grant, his new character of General Pride. Unlike Hux, I actually thought he was pretty intimidating in this movie.
Yeah.
Would I have liked him in the first two if he had been there? Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I think he totally could have done a lot more, especially with his interplay with Hux in this movie. I think could have been explored more in this movie if Pride had been in the first two.
Yeah.
But beggars can't be choosers. Richard E. Grant's a great actor, and I think the character that he played of General Pride was fair.
Yep.
Totally fine. Maz Kanata's back. Lupita Nyong'o. She's not really in this movie.
Nah.
She was in the first one quite a bit, and then I think she was relegated to the background in the last two.
Basically, it's
And
like they did nothing with her character, honestly.
Yeah, that's something that we could say a lot about the sequel trilogy, is that they didn't do enough with a lot of characters. Some they did, but I would say the majority character development is definitely not the strongest part of this trilogy.
Yeah.
So, but again. Yeah, sorry.
We get Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher.
Yep, all three of all the main OGs come back, even if it's just for a quick scene. I honestly love the scene that Han Solo has with his son.
Oh yeah.
I think that's one of the pluses of this movie.
Yep.
I like that Leia, even though Carrie Fisher had died at this point, I like that they used past footage, so they didn't CGI anything, and it was.
I think they only CGI'd her.
Did they CGI her?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it didn't distract me in the movie. It was great seeing her back, and I think they did a really good job of sending her character off.
Yeah, and then they do something with her character that really it got me laughing hysterically, honestly.
Yeah. And then Mark Hamill is in like one or two scenes of this movie as Luke, and he's kind of basically like apologizing for the Last Jedi.
Pretty much.
It's like way too on the nose for that, but I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed seeing him back, and as the Luke Skywalker that I remembered. It's the Luke Skywalker that we should have gotten in The Last Jedi.
Definitely.
But we didn't.
Yep.
So therefore it was like, oh, sorry, we're gonna do that now.
Yep.
So yeah, it was just, I love seeing the original three back. Well, could they have been handled better? Probably, but you know, I was okay with it. I was fine with it.
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, because of nostalgic sake and all that, it was nice seeing them back.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I think you were gonna say something.
I was.
Were you? Oh, it sounded like you were. You said Adam Driver as Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
By far one of the best characters in this new trilogy, and well, he does make
Yeah.
some questionable decisions in this
I mean,
movie.
I feel like he had the most growth in this trilogy. Like,
Yep.
in The Force Awakens, you see him just breaking shit every time nothing goes his way,
Yeah.
to now actually dealing with the consequences.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll still get angry, but he'll
Okay.
at least handle them better.
Yeah, and he was seen as kind of the main threat in Force Awakens. In The Last Jedi, it was like we weren't sure if he was turning good or bad. We were. It was very unclear. And then with this film, he starts out kind of be in that same place, and then realizes that he can't. He needs to turn back to the good
Definitely.
side. Which again, I'm really glad that creative decision with his character was made, because after The Last Jedi, I was like, I don't know if I really want him to be the main villain. He's more interesting than that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Kylo Ren definitely one of the best characters of this new trilogy, and I think consistent throughout the all three films. I
Yeah.
think he was a good character,
Definitely.
and I honestly don't have anything negative to say about his character or Adam Driver's performance. He's great. New character in this that we forgot to mention, Kerry Russell as Zori Bliss.
Yeah, that bounty hunter.
The bounty hunter that has a past connected to Poe. She
Yeah.
comes in, she comes out, but I gotta say, as far as new characters go, I thought she was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, they tried making her a Jango Fett, but arguably I'd say Jango Fett's cooler.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that, because Jango Fett has more screen time in the prequels,
Yeah.
but I would say that her character, if it was explored more in later films, I would be on board to see that.
Yeah.
Because she was cool, and I'd like to see her and Poe's relationship. But it was kind of too little too late.
Mm-hmm.
So, off of that, Junice Suetamo as Chewbacca. I mean, I don't think we really need to say anything about Chewbacca. He's great in
Yeah.
all of the Star Wars films. They do a fake out where they think that they killed Chewbacca.
Yeah, where Rey and Kylo play tug of war. She uses force lightning, even though she wasn't trained to do that.
Yeah. Kind of comes out of nowhere.
And then next thing you know, he's alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, was this movie trying to get us in a gotcha moment, or because like?
Well, I think it kind of feels like a fake out. It's like, oh, Chewbacca's dead.
Yeah.
No! Oh wait, he's fine. Why'd you just tug out the audience's emotions like that? I mean,
I know.
Yeah, that is one of the things I still have a question about. Like, why was that creative decision made?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. It didn't progress the story anymore either.
No.
It just kind of
It
happened.
was just comical, honestly.
It was pretty comical. It was. Billy D. Williams is back as Lando.
Yeah.
He's good. He's good. He's not in the film a whole lot, but when he is Lando
Yeah.
Calrissian, and it's nice to see him back. But he, like the other three, he's kind of just back as Lando. There's not really
Yeah.
anything new for him to do.
Like just shoot in there.
Yeah, just shoot in there and laugh, and
Yeah.
just have a couple one-liners and everything. But I'd be lying if I didn't say that I would have been disappointed if he wasn't in this film.
Really?
I liked that they brought Lando back, because it felt kind of full circle, kind of a full circle
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah, I guess.
But again, did they do enough with him? No. But I mean, that could be said about most characters in
Yeah.
this trilogy. Two more. Kelly Marie Tran as Rose Tico.
Rose.
Yeah, so we had both of us, I think, had a big problem with Rose in The Last Jedi. I didn't
But-
hate her as much as you did.
I mean, she's one of my least favorite characters.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I can only think of like a few that I hate more than her.
I hate I'm sorry, I hate Jar Jar Binks more than her.
Jar Jar, yep.
Yeah.
And I hate Holdo more.
I hate Holdo. I also hate...
Thankfully, she died in The Last Jedi.
yeah, she wasn't a good character. Laura Dern got wasted.
Yeah.
Because she's a great actress. I can think of another character I hate more than Rose is, oh god, young Anakin.
Really young Anakin?
Young Anakin in The Phantom Menace was fucking terrible. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, not good. Yeah, but I will say Rose is relegated to kind of in the background in this movie.
Yeah.
There's virtually no character development with her, so she's just kind of there to help with the mission.
Yeah.
And I think that was in backlash to The Last Jedi, and JJ was like, okay, we're not going to go anywhere further with your character because people do not like your character. I thought it was respectful, but at the same time, I felt like her character could have had so much more to do in this movie.
Yeah.
But whatever. I mean, people aren't complaining that she is in the film still, but
well, I mean,
she's just kind of there.
That's the good thing with this film. It reverses everything The Last Jedi did.
It does, yes. Well, I think we can both agree that it does reverse most, if not all, the things The Last Jedi put on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is definitely good. And the last person, Palpatine himself, Ian McDiarmid.
Yeah.
It's cool to see him back, but he's just kind of doing his shtick as Palpatine, and it's like he kind of is a joke at this point.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, I thought the running joke would have been Captain Phasma.
Yeah.
Like being beat by Finn over and over again.
Yeah, well, the first two movies, yeah.
Yeah. And then now we have a joke of the saga where Palpatine just randomly comes back.
Yeah. It feels like a last-ditch effort to get the fans who hated The Last Jedi back on board.
Yeah. Heck, they could have brought Snoke back from the dead.
I honestly, if they had brought Snoke back from the dead, I don't know if it would have pissed fans off more or if it actually would have pleased them.
I would have been solely pleased, because then I would have seen, like, man, this guy is so powerful.
Yeah. So instead of Palpatine, you would have liked Snoke to be resurrected?
Because, I mean, it's a new trilogy. It's time for something new, honestly.
And the fact of bringing Palpatine back, you wanted them to rely on something that wasn't nostalgic-based?
Like, you can reference the originals and prequels all you want, but just some originality at least.
Yeah, no, I absolutely, I think JJ was struggling to put the pieces of this film back together, and in the long run, I think he did a good job and probably did the best job he could. Yeah. But like I said, he didn't have his work cut out for him. So
I mean, I blame Disney for it.
I blame Disney too. I blame Kathleen Kennedy too. I think it's time for her to move on to something else that's not Star Wars.
Yeah.
No offense. I just and I'm not being sexist or anything. I just think
Star Trek.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, and speaking of which, we would love to review the newest Star Trek trilogy at some point. You've seen all three, right?
I think I only saw the first two.
Oh, you need to see Beyond. Okay, well, that's for another time. Anyways, we talked about the performances. We talked about the story.
Yep.
Obviously, your pros and cons are going through as we're moving through here. The effects and the cinematography. I think this is the same cinematographer of. Not The Last Jedi, I believe it's the same cinematographer of The Force Awakens.
Alrighty.
And I think you and I both agreed that Dan Mindel. Dan Mindel was the cinematographer in this film. I actually think this is a better looking film than Force Awakens, just by a little bit. Yeah. And would you say it's better looking than Last Jedi?
Oh yeah.
You would? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Last Jedi I thought was good looking as well.
All three are really stunning looking movies, but I think that Rise of Skywalker, because of the technology and the years in between the film's releases, I just think that they have perfected that element of the movie with each film. Yeah. And I think this is the best looking of the trilogy visually.
Yeah.
So definitely that. I mean, that's the cinematography. I think the effects are top notch as they have been in this trilogy. The music, the effects, and the cinematography, all three have been really consistent.
Yeah, the music, I feel like, even with all Star Wars films, is absolutely amazing.
John Williams, I think it's his final Star Wars score. Well done, sir. Like, hats off to you, because one, I can't believe you came back to do 3 more films, and 2, you created some amazing scores.
Definitely.
And some of the films don't necessarily deserve the amazingness that is those scores that he composed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the music was excellent, and the cinematography and the effects. Before we score this, because I'm sure this video is running a bit long, did you have anything else to say about this?
So, I did like Han Solo's cameo. As much as I didn't like that Emperor Palpatine Return, I love that lightning scene where he's just like overpowering the lightning now.
When
during that ship battle.
Yeah. There's a lot of wide-eyed, shocking moments in this movie where you're just like, did that really just happen?
Yeah.
I will say another one of those moments is like when Rey uses Force lightning and blows up the ship Chewbacca on it.
And later, we now know why.
Yeah, yeah. And I know that twist is not going to please many, but I was fine with it.
It didn't please me.
I know. I didn't mind it. I was like, oh, okay. Because I don't follow the fan theories like you, so I didn't have those expectations of, like, they cannot do this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was just, I was fine with that, with that revelation.
Which, spoiler alert, Rey is a Palpatine.
Yeah, yeah. We already said spoiler warning at the beginning of this film, but if you haven't seen The Rise of Skywalker already, then I feel like you're not gonna see it because it's been out for months.
I mean, out of all the fan theories, like, some said she would have been a Skywalker, some thought she was a Kenobi, which, random, but would have been cool.
It would have been cool, yeah.
Some thought she was a reincarnation of, like, a super powerful Jedi.
Yep.
One theory that, I mean, personally, I actually changed my mind and think this would have been the coolest one, that she was twins with Kylo Ren.
That would have been interesting, yeah. I think all those that you just listed probably were better than the one we got.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the deed is done, the story's done, we got that
And her being a
twist.
Palpatine was a fan theory, too.
It was, yeah.
It was quite possibly the dumbest theory.
Yeah.
It's like when someone gives a dumb answer on a game show and has dumb luck.
Yeah, it did feel kind of shoehorned in there, but again, like I said, I didn't mind it that much. I think each time we've talked about The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, we've talked about, like, our favorite scenes.
Yeah.
Hands down, my favorite scene of this whole movie is Kylo and Rey's fight on the ruined Death Star.
Really?
With the water and everything, I love that scene so much. That whole older Death Star scene where she's going and she has to find I don't remember, the Wayfinder, I think it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Call it what you like, but I thought that whole scene was really exciting. And even that evil Rey fake out was something different.
Yeah.
But it was really
This
just a
time she
tease.
had fangs.
Yeah.
Like Vampire Rey?
Yeah. I mean, let the fan theories run amok. But yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was. And then that leads into the Han Solo cameo scene. So I would say that was my favorite scene of the whole movie. And before
you have a least favorite scene?
Jeez. Yeah, it's Rey and Kylo kissing.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I think you hated it more than I did, but it felt kind of forced.
Yeah.
I was like,
I mean, it's almost like you had to think of it as a rom-com and not a sci-fi fantasy.
Yeah, I just think it turned a lot of people off, and I understand why it happened, but I could have done without that. Maybe they had held hands or something, but like a straight
or
up,
hugged, honestly.
Or hugged, like honestly, like a kiss. It was like,
and then he dies at the end.
Yeah,
the kiss of death.
Yeah. And I didn't like him dying either. I would have liked if he had stayed alive.
Same.
Because he was one of the best characters of this trilogy.
Yeah.
Before we score this, I'm gonna say also, so the lightsaber fight with Kylo and Rey on the ruined Death Star is my favorite scene in Rise of Skywalker. Favorite scene in Last Jedi is the throne room fight with the palace guards.
Oh, cool.
And then my favorite scene in Force Awakens is the fight in the snowy forest.
Alrighty.
Yeah, between Finn, Kylo, and Rey. So, if you want to score it, or you can talk about
I'd say, I don't know if I have a favorite film or favorite scene in this film, because some are either bad, and there's those that are so bad that they're actually good.
Yeah, like they're so bad that they're hysterical. Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Well, so yeah, you just wanna score this? Oh, okay.
I will admit, I did not like how Leia died.
Yeah.
Lastly.
Yeah, I know. They could only do so much with the footage they had of her.
I know.
We knew she was gonna die. We just didn't know exactly how until we saw the movie. So you know,
she should have died how Holdo did in The Last Jedi.
You think?
Yep.
You wanted it to be
risk her life.
You wanted it to be
save
more
everyone.
heroic. Okay.
Yeah.
I understand why you wanted it to be like that, but I also understand why they went with how she died.
Yeah.
More respectful, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we're done. I think we're done talking about Rise of Skywalker.
This video's probably like 45 minutes to an hour almost.
Hopefully less than that, but we'll see. Yeah. So, God, this is a difficult film to score. I've given The Force Awakens a 10 out of 10 because I genuinely believe it's an excellent film. Do you remember what I scored The Last Jedi?
I think a 7 or 8.
I think I did an 8.
if you want, can I do my score first?
Yes, you can.
For a change?
Yeah.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10,
Yep.
this I would say is definitely one of the bottom Star Wars movies for me.
Okay. All right.
For that reason, I will give this movie a 4. A 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. Okay.
Because, I mean, lastly, it rips off Endgame, too.
Yeah, and any film that rips off Endgame in the same year that it came out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's getting into some.
It's like Disney
there.
just copied those exact same script.
Yeah, you could argue that absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so 4 out of 10 from you.
Yep.
I'm gonna give this finale of this new sequel trilogy, The Rise of Skywalker. God, I enjoyed it a lot more than you did. I'm not a 4. I'm not a 5. I'm not a 6. I think I'm gonna give it. I want to say I gave Last Jedi. I think I gave it an 8. I can't remember. Did I give it a 7 or an 8?
I have no idea, but when we go to edit this, you can watch it and then remember by it.
Well,
Put it in text form.
Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna have to give my score now, so I'm gonna give The Rise of Skywalker. I'm gonna give it an 8 for now. Yeah.
Alrighty.
I'm gonna give it an 8 for now. It may go up or down depending on my score for The Last Jedi, but this is my second favorite film in this trilogy. I mean,
yeah.
But I still think The Force Awakens is the best, and
Agreed.
I will hold a special place for this trilogy because I was able to go to the theaters to experience all 3 of these films.
Yeah.
And despite the quality of the movies, I still very much enjoyed those experiences.
Yeah.
It's been insane to think it started in 2015, and now we're in 2020 talking about the final film in the trilogy.
Yeah.
I mean, where did the time go?
I have no idea.
Yeah, so currently an 8 out of 10 from me, a 4 out of 8 from you.
Yep.
I mean, 4 out of 10 from you. Yes, sorry.
4 out of 8.
4 out of 8. I can't math. That's our review of The Rise of Skywalker. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Yeah.
And we'll be back very soon to talk about another film, and what that film will be, you'll have to tune in to find out. Take care, everybody.
See ya.